So let's talk about some of the cooler stuff we saw at PAX. You guys checked out Outlast 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things.
Yeah, one of the things that I keep bringing up is that they had this house built in the middle of the show floor, which was all black, and then you would walk inside. There's a pretty long line, and there were 3 separate rooms that would then be like curtained off behind you. So it was like basically giving you the atmosphere of what it would be like to play a scary game alone on the show floor, but with the added spookiness of people either side of you screaming every now and then.
Yeah, and us having to share headphones.
Yes, we also had to share headphones.
Yeah, did that like completely diminish the spooks?
No, we still got
Actually,
spooked.
no, we still got pretty
Yeah, we still got
spooked.
pretty spooked. We're both cowards.
So
Yeah, that's true.
also that.
Yeah.
I thought the setup was particularly impressive, but the game is also really similar to the first Outlast, which is kind of what I want, but also really disjointed.
Yeah, we played probably like 15 or 20 minutes of it, and the demo hopped around really quickly between different types of horror. Like it started out, you're this journalist looking for his wife who disappeared after a helicopter crash, I believe.
Wow, I wonder where she went.
She's probably dead.
Probably, yeah, helicopter crashes. One of the leading causes of mysterious disappearances. We last saw her in a fireball, and I don't know where she went after that. It's just without a trace.
She probably got taken by some spoopy man.
By a spook man.
Yeah.
But it started off, you're sort of just like wandering around this darkness, like old-timey Western town, and then something starts chasing you, and you end up in a school, and then all of a sudden you're in a well, and there's like a Cthulhu monster.
Yeah,
and
so it's just all over the place, different dimensions and
corn
different.
maze was real cool.
Oh yeah, that was particularly cool.
It was very spooky.
So it was totally all over the place and seemed inconsistent. So it's either that it's going to be very confusing and you're never going to feel comfortable, or that was just kind of a demo highlight reel of the different things.
I think
we
it
will
was
see.
more of a tone piece of like these are the types of places you will go to in this game. And it seems like the game's like dealing with interesting religious themes. I mean the
religion is pretty spooky.
It's real spooky. Yeah. Like the T in Outlast is an upside down burning cross in the logo.
So it's pagan and racist. It's just really just like it's satanic Klansman.
Is this pagan and racist combined?
Pangus? I'm pretty sure Pangus is a racial slur that we didn't realize. So like I played a little bit of the first Outlast, and one thing that just immediately pissed me off a whole lot is it was in an abandoned mental hospital, which I think is one of just I'm immediately just like, this is the stupidest cliche.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still cliche, I think.
I mean, the mental hospital is a super lazy trope.
It is. I hate it because it's sort of like hospitals. People are scared of regular hospitals. Yeah. Make a modern hospital. Make hospitals that look like present. I think we're talking about this. And I think like The Darkness did a pretty good job of like having a psych ward that was like unsettling. Hotline Miami had a sequence with that, and it was like just. I think the kind of the sterile clinical sort of like. That weird teal colored stuff, and like I mean the beginning of the Phantom Pain had this pretty well.
Yeah.
But like to have those stupid Victorian wheelchairs.
That's what I was just gonna say. The amount of games where a wheelchair has rolled towards me, like even BioShock Infinite did that.
Yeah.
Like it's so many games that just use that little wheelchair and the screechy noise, and it's just coming out of a black room.
It seems lazy.
God damn
it.
I mean it's effective, but it seems lazy.
I mean Outlast and Daylight both did that, and then there was Evil Within had that. And I'm just like I'm kind of like I'm more interested in Outlast 2 just on the basis
Evil Within did it kind of creatively, but I would still say that Outlast, I mean, the setting, because the most recent horror game that I have played was The Evil Within, the settings are very similar. I was playing The Evil Within like 2 weeks ago, and you know, there's still like creepy country-looking places and crops. Like a lot of it is super similar to that, but I think that Outlast presents some other really interesting things, like the use of the camera, which it has a limited amount of night vision, so you have to decide when to pick up batteries, when to look, or when to just have everything pitch black so you can navigate.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Like, I think
really
it's super.
like that.
I think it's super effective, but at the same time, like having to manage the night vision sort of aspect of it, I feel like it limits me from being able to explore the world.
I mean,
I'm like worried.
Isn't
about
that the point though? I mean, it's kind of like that's the survival in the survival horror, right?
I mean,
it's like the same sort of item management that.
And it's the only item that you really have to manage
since Resident Evil. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the fact the game is so pretty that I just want to be able to wander around. Like,
maybe
it's
that's
stupidly pretty.
I mean, that's the thing.
you
Though. Maybe that's why it's so pretty is that you're only seeing these like vignettes, right? Like,
that could also be true.
Yeah,
they don't have to render the stuff that you don't see in the dark. They can crank up.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, but it also, on that note, like when we were in the school, there's just hallways and classrooms. They didn't actually seem very big either. So the stuff that you do see could be very limited, is very pretty. But I still like the challenge of having to manage when I'm going to look at things and when I'm not, and you're basically risking environmental awareness, which is the only way that you can survive is by being familiar with what's around you. So I really like that. And that's something that Outlast has that I still would consider to be original, even if settings like abandoned crop fields with spooky guys with weird white eyes who look like zombies and have pitchforks is still not original.
Yeah. I think a crop field's original.
Yeah.
I associate it with horror for some reason. Like,
I associate it with horror, not with games.
I mean, yeah.
Games haven't done a lot of like farm horror.
That's a very niche genre. I like the idea that you're kind of unstuck in these dimensions, though, even if it's just a tone piece. Like, I think it's really interesting that like you open a door and fall through to another area. Like, I think that's super cool, and it keeps you on your toes because you never know this like Vonnegut-esque like you're being ripped from one dimension to the next. Like, I think that's awesome.
But there's also like the concept of I think part of what makes some kinds of horror really effective, like PT, is giving you something that's slightly familiar and then screwing with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Which Outlast, if this is the way that it's going to be, doesn't do. Having no point of comfort at any point or nothing that feels familiar, like even, original Resident Evil and Silent Hill had slight safe zones that progressively got less safe. You still had that sense of this is comfortable, so therefore I know that what's up next is worse. Yeah. So you not having that kind of grounding point.
I mean, PT does that perfectly.
PT is just incredible.
Yeah, PT, I think so much of that is just the fact that it is like, you're in like a hallway. There's nothing inherently terrifying about this
We've all
place.
been in a hallway. You're probably 5 feet away from a hallway right
there's
now.
There's clocks and there's stuff, and then suddenly it starts messing with you, and you're going in like loops and stuff. So I mean, I'd like to see. I think Outlast has a lot of like it's really cool, has a lot of potential there. But like I hate when tropes kind of overtake like the actual like the horror mechanics. Like the fact that they're like, you're in a spooky place. Are you scared yet? Is it spooky?
Yeah.
You scared? Well, it's gonna get scarier, and it's sort of like, why not just start off like, why not have like that kind of like that lull? So. Yeah.